And back here on a Friday morning edition on ZTV 11, everybody's enjoying their Chick-fil-A this morning. They're open now. Go by and visit with them. Our special guest today, we've been telling y'all about all week, is Mr. Frank Morales. You know, it's hard to believe that I like Frank.
Why is that hard to believe?
Well, because he put me through so much misery. Actually, let me set this up for y'all. Frank is, what exactly is your title, Frank?
I'm the program director of the Conflict Resolution Programs at Family Services Center.
Conflict resolution. Now, is there a new thing if you get divorced in Madison County, people have to go through a conflict resolution deal?
What actually happens is sometimes people go through a divorce and it's so adversarial that the judges make a decision to possibly send them to me or somebody else. And what they do is they're in so much conflict, it involves the family, the kids are suffering from it and everything. And so they send them to conflict resolution so they can get better communication techniques, lower the anger between them, possibly be able to settle instead of having a long, drawn-out divorce. There's people that have been back to court several times after a divorce. You may know a little bit about that. And those people also come to conflict resolution now.
Now, and I'll set my story up in a minute because I went 10 weeks, absolutely enjoyed it so much. Gloria and I both went another couple of months, basically.
I think we went about 3 months after that.
Or maybe till we moved to Athens. I don't know, but it's
a great program, though.
Are most people embarrassed to be in your class on Tuesday night?
Generally speaking, when people first come in, they're embarrassed. They don't know what it's going to be. They're, apprehensive about it. They think everybody in there is violent or whatever, which is not the case. And in fact, in my particular class, I would say that 60 to 70% of the people are volunteers that come in because they see that they need some help. But once people get in there, they find out it's completely different. And this might be, we live in a pretty busy society. This might be the only time that you take to really deal with yourself the rest of your adult life, because we are so filled with doing things in our lives, we don't have time for things.
Now, it's men and women.
Men and women.
And
there.
professional and thugs.
Yes.
School teachers, engineers, doctors.
Yes.
TV people.
Yes.
And when you go in, now it's intimidating that first night in there because you're going around, why am I in here with these people?
But you try to sugarcoat your story.
Try may be the word, but try don't work, does it, Frank?
We don't like the sugarcoating because you wouldn't be here unless you needed something.
Now, the reason I was in there is that I had left a message or was talking to Cassidy. His mother recorded it as I was chewing his butt out about not doing what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. She takes it not only to my minister, Johnny Lee Dees, she also takes it to court to where I have to go in and defend myself in court for leaving my own son a message, which I had, even then when I tried to give him a whipping, I basically had to go through the friggin' law to get it done. Now, I may have been a little bit out of hand at that time, but I had an anger problem with her. Frank, I will never get over disliking my ex-wife. Mm-hmm. Now, is that common?
It's common not to not get over the feeling of disliking them. The thing is that your behavior will change toward it. We're not asking you to like somebody, we're asking you to change your behavior toward the person.
Okay, here's what I've written about that incident, then we'll get on some other things. Of course, I can't say, she's just starts with a B, so I won't go ahead. Y'all fill in the blanks on that one. She has the power over me. She's in control. Nobody is running your life but you. Well, but if you're mad at somebody, they don't really care. It's hurting. Now, is that most people's problem in there?
Well, I think we talked about that, several times that comes up during the sessions, is he who angers you controls you.
Right.
And the reason you're getting controlled is your behavior is the one that gets out of hand. You end up with the consequences. That person's on the sideline looking at you.
Laughing.
You don't have power to change someone else. You have to change yourself. And like you say, you have to do that that's not overnight.
Doesn't happen like that.
So how do you change yourself?
Well, that it's a process. You have to think about it. A lot of times people have been operating the same way for years. So they've made that behavior normal. So that behavior becomes normal. What you're having to do is change that whole cycle of thinking to let them see that they can be in control and that the first step is self-control. And a lot of people think if you don't do that, you're kind of wimping out or whatever, but the reality is you become a much stronger person.
When you tell someone that when they're in your class and you show them some of those traits that they have, they're not quick to say, yes, that's me.
No, of course not, because the fact of the matter is, we're in the blame game. You know, it's the he or she made me do it, which I call the third grade excuse that you wouldn't take from your child. If your child came up to you and stood up there and said, he made me jump on the couch or he made me get in the mud, you'd look at them and say, no, that's not how it works. But as adults, we go back to that same behavior.
You say angry people always take things personally. We're always the victim, and we don't let things go.
Right.
That's a lot of people.
Yes, what happens is, I called it Q-tip as the solving thing, and Q-tip stood for quit taking it personally, something that someone
But
can
it's
remember.
all personal. They've done something to me or taken
Right.
something from me that's made me mad, Frank.
Yes, but then you have that choice how you're going to react to it. Sometimes people want you to react that way just so you can suffer the consequences.
Told you
of
it was
it.
that way.
Yeah.
Because it makes you look like a fool, and here you've given them all the ammunition to
All right,
say,
now-
see, told you.
You know, a lot of people get divorced and stuff, but one of the things that I've got written down here too, you say you can't accuse somebody of being abusive and then take him back the next day.
Right.
And a lot of people do
Contradict
that. They
yourself.
blame somebody one day and the next day everything's fine.
Well, see, sometimes that's the manipulation. Sometimes people are put in positions where they have to do it for other reasons. But the thing is, like we talked about earlier, you can't go into that situation. Like angry people on the whole are generally very sensitive. Almost everything gets them upset. You have someone that takes it personally. You have someone that says one day you're this, one day you're that. You can't react to how they keep flip-flopping. You have to look at yourself first. And a lot of people refuse to do that because it's much easier to talk about somebody else than to work on yourself.